Well, if you've never done it before, it can be a little bit confusing. So there's a ton of videos on YouTube, but I'll cover it here. Take the wheel off, right? Take your tire and wheel off. Okay, we're back in the front here. I'm doing the front axle shafts. So before I do this, I've done this once before and I think I made a video, but I'll give you guys a quick rundown because there are some tips, some stuff to be learned here that might help you out. So let's flip this around. And it's, well, if you've never done it before, it can be a little bit confusing. So there's a ton of videos on YouTube, but I'll cover it here. Take the wheel off, right? Take your tire and wheel off. Throw it wherever. Then the next step is going to be to get your brake caliper off. It's going to be over on this side, hooked around these brackets, and it's going to be 12 millimeter. There's these two 12 millimeter long bolts that bolt through the back side of the caliper. They come through this way and they bolt into these guys. Spray some penetrating fluid on there if you need to, but I didn't need it. This Jeep came from Maine. It's really rusty where this axle came off of. But there was a lot of anti-seize on stuff, on the transmission, when I took that out. So this brake stuff, it's probably newer and the pads look new, so I suspect maybe someone didn't put anti-seize, but it's all right. Take out those 12 millimeter bolts, pull your caliper, tie it off to the side. I used the coil. Ideally, don't rest it on your tie rod here because it does help to turn the steering back and forth, and if you're resting it on your tie rod, it'll fall. So hang it by something somewhere. And then what you can do, pull the rotor off and then spray the back side of these hub bolts all with penetrating fluid. I sprayed them all down. There's 3 of them and there's one on this back side. And then they are a 12-point socket, 13 millimeter. It's probably better if I'm on this side. So it's that bolt right there that you're trying to get off, and there's 3 of them. One up here, one down there, and then one on the back side. Back them out just a little bit. Get yourself enough of a clearance. I had a little more than that. And then what you want to do is start hammering those bolts to separate your hub, to pull it out of the assembly. And I learned that online on YouTube, but it works out very well. You don't need a puller, you don't need to pry on anything. Just thread those in a little bit. You know, so take them out, thread them in a little bit so there's a gap there, and then you tap on the back side of the bolts, all 3 of them evenly. And I've had this happen on both Jeeps, it just pops right off. From there, I should be able to get my axle out. I hope I don't have any C-clamp stuff here. But that's these front axle shafts, and then I'll show you how we get at them. But let me finish taking this hub out, or the axle shaft. We have both axle shafts out of the axle. I did take a peek down in there on the short side and the long side, look at the inner axle seal. They looked okay enough for me, because I'm not going to mess with them. I am going to put outer axle seals, the ones you can buy off of Amazon or parts stores, on this Jeep just as like, I don't know, a secondary defense against destroying those inner seals, because this stuff doesn't really do much. But something I noticed, on both of these axles, there's a crack on the yoke side here, the hub side. There's a big crack down there. And it's the exact same kind of a crack on the passenger side. So at first when I saw that, I figured, well, it's just cracked. I will replace it. But then right there again, there's the exact same crack. So I've got, I've got another axle, the center vacuum disconnect on the Dana 30 that came on this Jeep originally, before I swapped this in. So I could easily pull the shafts out of there and replace this piece, keep these shafts, and just when I do my U-joint, just use a different hub piece. But I don't know if that crack's supposed to be there or not, so I'm gonna have to do some research and I'll figure out what's going on there. But for now, I've got to go to I've got to actually tap these out, so let me show you how I'm gonna do that. Basically, it's like any other U-joint. You're gonna put like a socket on here, and then you'll go to the back side and you'll get a bigger socket you can stick over this, and then just hammer them out. I prefer to use a hammer and kind of shock them. I don't like to use a press because I think it bends the yoke, and in my opinion, it kind of gets stuck in there anyways. I don't think pressing it works. You gotta really shock the thing. So, and now before you do that, there are little, like, sometimes on U-joints, you'd have like a little retaining clip that you have to squeeze with needle pliers, squeeze it, take it out. There's little retaining clips on the inside of the yoke, so make sure you remove those with a screwdriver or needle nose pliers or snap ring pliers before you try to press these out. The other thing I'll mention is that the splines on the axle shafts, they both look fine, and everything beneath this point, which is where the inner axle seal is, looks okay and doesn't look too dirty. So everything back here, you know, our outer axle seal didn't help us there, but splines look great on both, so we don't have to replace the shafts. Yeah, I'll just press these out and look into that crack. We're at the front of the vehicle now, and I want to give you guys one more pro tip. Since track bars on these XJs, or any Jeep really with a solid front axle, and the track bar set up for the suspension, a death wobble, it's pretty common on these things, especially when you lift them, and replacing track bars is just a common thing, and those bushings wear out all the time at the bottom, or the hull wobbles out. I think I've made a video on the death wobble and fixing the brackets and welding stuff on there, but just another trick that I do when you're running like a stock track bar, it can be kind of weak in the lower end there if you're not running like a rough country or some sort of off-road one. This is just a cheap adjustable one off of Amazon. A lot of people said that bushing wears out, and when I bolted it up, it did feel pretty darn weak. So here's something that I do, and I'll show you guys. I'll try to give you a better idea, but basically, if you look up in there, that is the track bar housing area. That's where it lives. But when you put the track bar up in there, you'll notice that there's a gap. You can see in between the blue and the track bar. Now it's taken up by the bushing. There's a metal sleeve that sticks out. However, I like to really squish the thing in there. And if you look at like a Rubicon Express adjustable track bar, I've had one on a different Jeep of mine. Those ones, the bushing goes all the way to the front and the back. It really fills up the space perfectly. So what I do is I'll get a big old washer, and I drilled it out so that it fits perfectly around that metal sleeve, and then I'm gonna shove it up in there like this and then rebolt it together, and that really makes everything a lot tighter. It doesn't give the bushing as much flexibility to wiggle around there. And you can do it on the back side as well if you feel it's necessary. Generally the front, I'll just shove one in the front, and that kind of keeps things squished in there enough to my liking. But get rid of that gap on your track bar, and that'll really help not wallow it out and wear out this bushing. So, and everything else, you just put it back together like normal. But I thought that was a neat trick that I do quite often, so I wanted to show you guys. I am pressing in the new U-joints. I finally got them, but this is a good point because these were kind of hard to track down. There's a couple different sizes, and I think the year that the axle switches is 95. Mine's from a 94, even though the Jeep is an 87. This axle is from 94. All I'll say is that the front U-joints for a 94 Jeep Cherokee XJ Dana 30 are a Spicer, and it is Spicer 5-260X. This is a U-joint. From what I understand, the X kind of dictates the inner snap ring instead of the outer snap ring retaining clip, which is that guy. It'll go on the inside. And this is like 1.06 for the cap diameter, whereas the later model ones are 1.18 for the cap diameter. Those would be too big, they wouldn't press into my yokes. So just pay attention to that. But the reason I flipped on the camera was I wanted to show you what had happened here. And this is fairly common when you're pressing in U-joints. Just pay close attention. I wasn't being careful enough, and I had a needle bearing. You can see it, it fell down. They're supposed to be in a ring around the perimeter, the outside. That needle bearing, I'll get a better look at it, but you can see it, it's sitting in the bottom there amidst the grease.
it basically tipped over when I was pressing it on. And then when I was hammering this cap down, I didn't smack too hard because everything was going smoothly. I did sand out the inside of the yoke a little bit with a piece of sandpaper, clean it up. Everything was pressing in smoothly, but I couldn't get the cap to press on all the way, recessed into the yoke. It was off by like 1/8 of an inch or 1/16 of an inch. And you know, those little retaining clips, they weren't gonna fit in there because the groove wasn't showing on one side only. That's a pretty good indication that you got a snap or a needle bearing that tipped over inside the cap. So just press it back out one side and then pull the cap off, and then pick that up with some pliers or whatever you can get it with, a little dental pick, and then tip it up and shove your cap back on. So something to pay attention to. It's super common, but that's what had happened here. So I'll continue with this and I'll show you guys probably once I'm prepping and installing these cheap little Amazon outer axle seals. I'm gonna try to hold a light and talk, but the axle shafts are reassembled with the U-joints. They went in very easily. I recommend those Spicer part numbers I had earlier. I just put in this outer axle seal. I don't really think these things work that well, to be honest, but I did put RTV on the inside of it. Shoved it in there, put a little grease in the Zerk fitting. Now I'm just gonna slide the shaft in there, bolt it all up, and then make sure it clearances with that little axle seal, and then I'll apply some more grease and reassemble all this stuff with a healthy dose of anise again here on everything on the hub. And I'll put my brake calipers back on and move on to the other side. But that's how those little axle seals go together. They're really straightforward. Okay, everything in the front end is put back together. Yeah, moving along. That's it. All new U-joints in both axles. So we can move on to the next piece of this turd puzzle. Here's a little bit of an after shot. Got the bumpers mounted. Got all the tires on. Taking it for a few test drives. It's got the 32s and the, I don't know, whatever kind of the lift we did. Somewhere between 3 and 4.5. It looks pretty good. The stance is all right. And it's by no means done yet. It's close. Got a couple things to do, but otherwise it's been aligned. It's running, it's driving. It's in pretty good shape. So we'll have to take it out, do some wheeling, see how the stock 307 gears do. And then once we re-gear to 410s, see how those do. It's got open diffs right now, so we'll see about that. But everything is pretty much all buttoned up in here. Interior's back together. It's got that cool 80s stuff, but headliner's been pinned up with those little things off Amazon. Yeah, I'll do a roof rack basket for it up top. I'll weld something together real cheap and quick, but that's the after shot of the lift.